whole bunch of nasty stuff, like leaves, and the water was like really brown. And we found a lot of creatures in it, microscopic creatures, and we thought we saw a developing tadpole in it, but we weren't sure. But we still, it was really nasty.
You wouldn't drink it.
Yeah. And this is the beginning design blueprint, and we didn't use that. We only used 5 different products. Well, not products, like materials. And we used the mesh 3 times, and the rest only once. And we used mesh, sand, coal, a coffee filter, and cloth. And it didn't clean it that well because we didn't put that much things in it, and we used the mesh 3 other times because we thought that it would help a lot more.
This is the first design. In the one filter and it was still brown. It was
Sediment.
sediment. It was like a little rock. It become raw. The water.
So as you can tell from our first design, it didn't really work very well. It didn't really filter the water, and it left a lot of the bugs and stuff in it. So we decided that we were going to have to make some changes for our final design. So we decided to completely rethink our design because our old one really didn't work very well. We decided that we should probably just kind of forget about that one and make a new one. We decided to rethink the materials. We took all the materials we thought worked well on our other one. We just didn't have enough of them, so we decided to add more layers. From testing, we realized that the sand, we put mesh under the coal and gravel, the loose stuff, to make it not fall through the bottle. But some of the sand, because the individual grains are so small, would fall through. So we realized that we had to have cloth under the mesh. Then we decided that if our water looked clear enough after our filter, we would add things like bleach, bromine crystals, and another water, hot tub water purification thing to our water, so you can get it clear and a little less brown. So this is the final design blueprint, and as you can see, we added a bunch of layers. We start at the bottom. The tan rectangle is the coffee filter. Above that, we have a layer of blue cloth, which is kind of like the material that the tablecloth is made out of right now, kind of cloth. Then on top of that, we add a layer of sand. On top of that, we add another layer of cloth. Then we add a layer of mesh. On top of that, we had a layer of charcoal, another layer of mesh. Then we had 2 layers of gravel, like pea gravel, kind of like the gravel we have outside of the playground. Then we had a coffee filter. Then we had a layer of green cloth, which was kind of like fleece. It was from a Christmas blanket. Then we had a layer of mesh, and then another layer of sand, and then another layer of mesh. And as you can see, there's the dirty water coming in and the clean water coming out.
This is the final design picture, and it shows all the things that we used. And it would be surprising because it looks really like thin, like it looks like it didn't make that much space. But as the water went in, it kind of packed it all down, which made it filter a lot more. Because then, like all the bugs and stuff, like if it was loose, then they would be able to get through more holes and stuff. So when it packed down, it helped get all of them out and keep them out.
So that tighter,
Yeah, and it helped keep
got dense, and that all those layers worked better together to put the
Yes.
design.
So for the materials we used, we had to have a reason, like research we did for why we used them. For the charcoal, we used it because almost every single website we used for water purification, it said that charcoal was a really good idea. It was always listed as one of their top materials to use. And then the sites in the parentheses, those are the sites that recommended charcoal. We used the sand because we thought that the water would go through the individual grains and it would pick up a lot of the some of the big stuff and a lot of the smaller stuff, like the little tiny animals and stuff, like the worms and things, and the water would go through, and the sand worked really well. Those are the sites that we should use the sand. We used the cloth kind of as the same reason as the sand, and also to hold some of the materials up, like the sand, so it wouldn't fall down to the bottom of our system. And then those are the websites that said we should charcoal would not go through, and it would let the water through, and then pull them up. For the gravel, we used the gravel because we thought it was really big and it wouldn't fall down as much as the sand and the charcoal, and the water would go through, and it would kind of go between the individual cracks of the charcoal, and it would pick up some of the stuff. We saw that it picked up a lot of like the tiny bugs, like the water fleas. And so those sites said we should use gravel. And then for the coffee filter, we thought, well, first of all, it has filter in the name, so we must do something. And then I've seen some of the stuff like it can do, like people that love coffee, see how it can catch a lot of
Why you gotta
stuff.
point at me?
I see how it will catch a lot of even like the really small coffee grains, so we thought that would be really good for a lot of the sediment and stuff like that. And then the sites under that decided to use.
The final design results was that the water was like watered down lemonade, and by watered down lemonade I mean it was slightly yellow and very clear, and it was really amazing of how good we cleaned it. And there was no sediment at all, and no bugs at all. If there was bugs, it still could have caused like diarrhea, things like that. And there was nothing found with our microscope, and there was no odor at all, which it's better because when we had the odor the first time, it smelled like sewer water. It was really gross.
And our microscopes are, I think, 10 magnification, so they couldn't catch like the smallest of the bacteria, but a lot of the stuff it could catch, like the algae and the bugs and stuff like that. So none of that stuff was found on the microscope.
And that's why we weren't able to drink it, because we didn't know if it didn't have like E. coli and stuff.
And then now we're going to show you our trial data table for our test trials. So this is, we have the good effects of all our materials for our 3 trials for our final, and then on the other side we have the bad effects. So for the mesh worked really well. It stayed in the bottle first of all. It was really sturdy enough to stay in the bottle without falling down. And it caught a lot of the big stuff like the twigs, some of the bigger bugs like the worms and snails, and all that stuff. And then it also, as we said, worked really good for holding up the sand, the charcoal, and the gravel, so they wouldn't fall through the thing. For the coffee filter, that worked really good for, it made the water much less cloudy. Like we could tell, like every time we added a layer of coffee filter, the water became much less cloudy, and we saw that it caught a lot of the sediment. And then for the charcoal worked really well. I don't know why. I think there might be a chemical in the charcoal, but when the water went through, it made it much clearer. It went from like the brown to watered down lemonade color with the charcoal. For the sand, it worked fairly well. The water, it caught a lot of the kind of the sediment too, and it caught a lot of the bugs, stuff that went through some of the stuff. It caught a lot of the smaller bugs, like the little kind of roundworms and that stuff. The cloth worked really well for also catching the sediment, like the coffee filter, and holding up the sand. And then the gravel worked fairly well for letting the water go through and catching some of the bigger stuff. And also, unlike the charcoal and the sand, it didn't rub sediment off into the water. And then all the materials pretty much have the same good effects for every single trial.
Some of the bad effects are that the mesh, it only caught like the big stuff, and like it let all like little stuff like dirt and stuff like that just go right through. The gravel, it also only caught the big stuff. It caught like some, I don't know, it caught like a water flea, I think. The sand, it was like leaving a bunch of sediment in the water, and so was the
Alkalinity,
alkalinity, 0,
chlorine,
chlorine, safe, 0, hardness, very hard, nitro, safe,
nitrate. And the pH scale is, it shows whether acidic or base it is. It goes from, I think, 0 to 14. And on the 14 side, it's more alkalinic, like things like Pepto-Bismol. And on the lower end, it's things like 0,
Like
lemon juice and acid, orange, a lot of the fruit juices.
So because ours was like a 1 and 3, it was very acidic, and like if you drank like too much of it, it could get you itchy.
It could hurt. It could give you a bit of a stomach ache, but that could be balanced by a lot of stuff. Like if they had Pepto-Bismol, or if they had any stuff that was a bit acidic, they could add, or base, they could add that to the water to balance it out. Alkalinity is the level of alkaline or the level of base it was, and that was 0, so ours was really acidic. The level of chlorine was safe at 0, so we didn't have, we had low amounts of chlorine, and it wouldn't hurt you with chlorine. The hardness was very hard at 300, and the hard water is like if you have hard water and it kind of comes out of your shower faucet.
It'll get all like white.
Yeah, it'll get all the white crusty stuff on it. The nitrite and nitrate were both safe at 0, so you couldn't get anything from nitrite or nitrate.
This is applicable to third world countries because the materials are like inexpensive and you can just find them. Like you can just like find sand somewhere, gravel, and it's smaller, so like you don't have to carry around like some huge thing, and it can like filter stuff for like 3 or 4 uses before it starts like getting like soaked, and it's like very like inexpensive because we just use like a pop bottle, and so you can just like take that stuff and use it in like a bottle or something that you like used, and then you have a water purification system. These are some of the sites we use to like find out like what we should use and how much. And this is just more of the sites we use. And the blue side at the bottom, the very bottom one, isn't an internet website, it's a magazine.
Okay, thank you guys for watching.
Nice job.
Any questions?
I had a question. On your final design, you decided to use 2 different types of cloth. You were talking to one was more like a fleece, and the other one was more like a tablecloth. Why did you choose to use 2 different cloths? And do you feel like that helped your water purification system?
Do you guys have anything?
We think it's because when we use 2 different materials, like it's just adding, like if there's something wrong with the fleece, then the blue cloth can fill in the wrong things. Like it could like fill in the bubbles that are bad about it.
And the tablecloth, we wanted that kind of at the bottom because it was less thick and it would let the water drip through easily. And if there was anything that somehow made it through the system, the blue cloth was really good at catching it.
Yeah.
And we used the green cloth because we knew that if, at the top, because we knew that if we used it at the bottom, it was going to drip and like never stop dripping. And it would take like hours for a
Too
system to
thick?
function through. Yeah, it was really thick, about, I don't know, it was thick. So we decided to use that at the top, so we could also catch a lot of the sediment that was early on in our water.
I have a question. So when you were deciding which materials were, how did you determine which materials were pulling out what types of things from the water?
Well, because like what we first did was we tested them like one at a time and just
Okay.
kind of like added up the layers, and we could see like what it caught and what it didn't. So that's how we figured out like in like which order to put it and like which materials were used. Sorry.
Good.
In your first design, you said the mesh didn't help, and I don't know if I didn't catch the end.
it and enough layers above it that would catch a lot of the stuff, like the sediment and the bugs and stuff. So the mesh didn't really help. It helped for keeping things up, but it didn't really help for the filtration because we didn't have enough stuff above it to kind of take out the stuff that it
So it's more of a structural piece
Yes.
that helped. You guys have an extensive reading list. How did you break that up? Did you all read the same materials, or did you assign them to each other, or?
We just all kind of looked, we had on our teacher's page a list of websites, and we all just kind of broke up and looked at different websites. And when we saw that a material was getting picked over and over and over again, we decided, hey, we might want to use this. So we just kind of fanned out the websites to each of us, and then we looked it up and saw if there was anything that they recommended about it.
So all the kids had access to the same reading materials?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm curious about charcoal. I think that might be something you do for the next steps, figure out why cleans the water smells, what color. You had said maybe it's chemical reaction, so that I would like to give you a little more.
I kind of thought maybe it's because like I kind of thought that charcoal wouldn't be that good because it would turn some of the water brown,
That surprised you?
brownish or black. Yeah, and I'm surprised that it helped it a lot because usually it turns it like really black and stuff.
We saw on another team, it might have just been the water coming over the screen or the pond that they had under it, but when they poured it in, the water kind of foamed up around the charcoal. I don't know if that was a chemical reaction or just the water kind of bouncing off the mesh, but it could have been a chemical reaction. That might have been.
And also over at Team Board, like they had like coffee filters, and then they dumped charcoal into there, and when they put water in, when the charcoal was dry, it was like in smoke kind of thing.
So we need to find out what is going on with that charcoal. You know, a fun place to visit to learn more about this too, that's really close, would be Waterworks. Faster, some figures got to walk down and see their filtration systems.
Yeah, we're actually in honors math. Well, me, Colby, and Shane. We might. Mr. Auditory told us that we might go over there for a circle, like to see how much like yards a slide is
Yeah.
with a circle. Yeah.
Very good. Well, I think you guys were awesome.
You guys did a really good job.
Good job.